Battle Creek, first off, is the cereal capital of the United States. The main factories of Kellogg's and Post are both in Battle Creek, and so that's where they make the cereal, like Cocoa Puffs and stuff like that. And so when you wake up in the morning and you walk out on the balcony, you can actually smell whatever cereal they're making that morning. Whether, like I said, like Cocoa Puffs or whatever other cereal is being made that day, and it just permeates the air, and it's really neat. Also, there's this. I think Battle Creek is where the Seventh-day Adventist Church began. I don't. I'd have to like check my my solid Wikipedia facts in order to verify that. But there are some really cool buildings there, including this one building called the Sanatorium, which is this creepy kind of turn of the century Gilded Age building. It looks like the Tower of Terror in Disneyland, and it's really cool and kind of like I said, kind of has a creepy feel to it. All of Battle Creek kind of had like a gothic feel in a way, just because of the time of year that I was there. It was like in February-ish, and so all the trees were black from the rain, and the slush filled the streets. And I remember, and all the trees were kind of leafless and dead, and a lot of the houses, as I mentioned before, were foreclosed. And so there was a lot of urban decay throughout the more densely packed parts of the city. And it looked like all the buildings were abandoned. That was the weird thing. Obviously they weren't, but there are these two kind of ghastly looking skyscrapers there, taller buildings that I remember, that look like North Korea or something like that. Just not a lot of, I don't remember there being a lot of life to the city. Although, except when the weather warmed up, obviously, like when it got in like the 60s, because in Michigan, you know, it's so cold there during the winter that when it gets to like in the 50s, temperature-wise, people are in their t-shirts. But I remember one day it was 68 degrees in the middle of winter. And all of a sudden, everybody just came out of the woodwork. All the families kind of they'd sit out on their porches. And it's funny because, again, compared to Utah, I mean, maybe in some places, but in Draper, people just kind of, like, you have your yard and your kids playing in the yard maybe, but you don't have like this huge family camped out on the porch doing whatever they're doing and just kind of watching you as you go by. And I stood out like a sore thumb. So yeah, it was an interesting and cool place. I really liked it. I'm under the impression that there's a lot of crime there. I know, like, at least more than Draper, Utah, that's for sure. I know there's talk of a lot of gang activity there and everything, but I mean, as missionaries, we have a curfew. We have to be inside by 9 p.m. And there's two of us, so we just never really, I don't feel like I encountered a whole lot of that firsthand. I'm sure like a lot of missionaries may have had experiences, especially missionaries in Detroit. I know I had a buddy who got jumped or something like that, but I got the impression that people like recognized that, like, we had we had suits on with our missionary name tags, and it seemed like people were inclined to leave us alone, just knowing that we were with the church and everything. Battle Creek is known as Little Detroit, just because it's in between Chicago and Detroit. And so, yeah, there's I guess a more diverse demographic there.